Alright, what is going on, guys? Crypto Mac here, bringing you another crypto video. Today we're going to take a look at Rune Thorchain, which I've not spoken about. I've actually not made a YouTube video in a while. I think it's been nearly a month since I've talked about crypto, because the past month has been, or more than a month, ever since Bitcoin has had its decline. It's been pretty rocky territory in crypto, difficult to navigate, very bearish, a lot of fear in the market. So I haven't made too many videos just because honestly it's just quite boring when the market's down. But I thought I'd do an update video, specifically talk about Rune, as we can see Rune has had a very significant pump. So as a recent 212% move, we can see right there, which I'll get into and talk about where I think Rune can go moving forward. Before I get into it, just want to say this video is not financial advice, guys, so please do your own research. So looking at Rune, we can see it had a massive pump back in 2021, last year. We know Rune had this massive run up to $21. We talked about a lot of Rune, not at that point. We talked about Rune a lot when I was making regular videos about how I think Rune is a good coin and where I can see it going. Obviously, the market took a massive turn and most coins did come down. But I still said Rune, I still think it's a good coin, and we can see it did come down considerably, down to $3.30, which is basically our main support level we can see. So this was a support level back in July of 2021, and again we found ourselves here twice actually. One point here around 24th of Jan, and then 24th of Feb, about a month later. So this has been the main support level, and we've just had a recent pump, which is because of the utility and the synthetic asset, the launch that Rune had has pumped the price considerably. So we can see, as I just said, about over a 200% move, which is very massive, right? Very massive. Rune went down to about, it was about just over $3, about $3, and is now trading at $9. So that's a 3x, which is very nice. It's currently in this very steep ascending channel. This does not seem like it'll stay, but you can just see the pump, little correction, pump, correction, pump, correction, and just continuous. So look, the further this goes, the better, obviously, but I can't see this being sustainable, right? Like, we can't just pump, come down, just continue this rise. But if it does, you know, Rune might go to $10, $11, and ultimately this is all happening when Bitcoin's not doing much, just kind of trending between like 39,000 and 42,000, and Rune's making massive moves. So I mean, we could see Bitcoin make a nice move to 43 or 44k, and that might give Rune another 10% pump, and you know, all of a sudden we have a $10, $11 Rune. I think a big correction is due, or at least a minor one. I think we'll eventually break through this bottom line and just come down. No reason to come down massively, but maybe a 10 or 20%. I mean, from the high up here, a 10 or 20% move might be in the $8 to $7 range, which would be reasonable considering, you know, this started back at $4 from this movement. So to pump from $4 to $9, you might expect a correction before heading higher, which I think, my view is still that the market cycle is going to extend into 2022. Therefore, I think Rune can move higher and hopefully get back up to all-time highs. I think that's definitely potential, definitely not financial advice. There's no way, you know, you can't be certain on these things, but I do believe it is potential, and $21 is that level at the all-time high, which will be difficult to get to, obviously. Another way of looking at Rune, so here's a major support line at the bottom, but then also this top resistance line. So it's kind of, I'm on the weekly candles here, and we can see three big weekly candles, right? We can see massive growth, and therefore to get three nice green candles in a row, you might expect a red one. But we can see back here there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles in a row, which is a very big move. And from the wick, this is a 4x in 35 days, which is absolutely massive. So I think this resistance line is going to be tough to get through. It's around that about $12 range. If we go around here, it's around $12. To try and get through that will be difficult. Also, you can look at the Rune Bitcoin. If you can just see, it doesn't look like much because I'm on the weekly time frame, but if you actually look at the past 3 weeks, Rune's up over 130% against Bitcoin, which is very, very significant. Another way of looking at it, which is probably a bit far-fetched, I guess, but you can see the kind of trend that Rune has against Bitcoin, where it pumps, moves sideways a bit, pumps, moves sideways, pumps, and then moves sideways. And so ultimately, you can draw this line across like that. Very similar trends. A pump, moved sideways, and then, you know, next in line, historically, would be a pump again. Now, there's no guarantees on that. You know, I'm just looking at a trend that we've seen, and it does seem like it is reasonable. It is somewhat of a valid trend, but there's not too much validity for this, and there's no reason why we have to do this. But it's definitely a pattern that Rune has against Bitcoin, that we can see. If we have a look at Bitcoin, which is important because Bitcoin, you know, obviously depicts the market pretty heavily, and ideally we want to see Bitcoin rise and get to new all-time highs, and then we can see altcoin season begin and altcoins start to make massive moves, and that's where we can realistically see Rune take off again and, you know, go back to all-time high levels and go higher. We definitely need Bitcoin to get back to all-time high levels itself. It's trading at $42,000 at the moment, trending between these two lines. We can see this top line's around that 44k point, and then going down to like 30, low 30s to mid 30s around this. The previous support lines have been at 37,500. So this is what it's trending between. If we look at the bull market support band, which is very, very important, we can see here that the 21-week EMA is at 43,700, which, if we zoom in, is not that much above where we currently are at. It's a 4.47% move to touch that line, and you can see we've had wicks get close or actually hit the line and rejected about 1, 2, 3, about 4 out of 5 weeks. We saw that. We had a wick get close to or touch the line and then get rejected. So ultimately, we want to see us break through this first line, rise above, and then the 20-week moving average is at 46,300. Get above that, and then the next move would be come down and test it as support before heading higher. That's the most bullish case that we can see. But we can also see that the 21-week EMA is coming into, or has come into, this resistance line. And so before, like right here, the resistance line, the white resistance line was online with the 21-week EMA, and so there's a lot of resistance there. But now that it's below, that becomes that major resistance line. So we can break through that, then we might be able to get above the bull market support band. As I said, I mean, the textbook was right here, got above the bull market support band, came down, tested the support before heading higher. So that's ultimately the move we want to see happen again for Bitcoin. So I am still bullish on the market, and I think we will extend into 2022. The bull market will extend, which is just due to lengthening cycles. I think that's going to play out, and there's no guarantees to that, especially with like worldwide events happening. A lot of news can majorly affect the crypto market as well. So, but as for technical analysis goes, I think the market will extend, and we'll see the market, the cycle run maybe for another 6 months, 12 months, even could go into 2023. There is talks of that as well. People speculating that. Obviously, it is all speculation and can't be overly deterministic, but that's ultimately what I think might happen. And then for Rune, I think, you know, if Bitcoin has a good rally, then majority of altcoins will rally again, which is what we saw in that first run for Bitcoin, which is right here, where we saw a lot of altcoins really take off, and Rune was no exception, hitting all-time high levels. And a lot of altcoins did the same thing. So let me know what you think of Rune. I think it's a good project. I think it's going to have a good year. I've said that quite a lot. I made a video what I think Rune will do in 2022, but obviously it is a lot, very heavily dependent on how Bitcoin performs. And if Bitcoin does come down and doesn't extend into 2022, then we might enter a bear market, and that's always something to consider. So you can't just expect gains to happen. As for the short term, as I said, Rune has just been on this steep incline that I think a correction does seem likely. But let me know what you think of Rune Thorchain, and crypto in general. What do you think of the market at the moment? Where you think it's going to be going, short, mid, long term? Please give the video a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch us all later.